Before we begin, I want to thank Kroger for sponsoring this episode of More Than That with Gia Peppers. You can learn more about Kroger's commitment to creating communities free of hunger and waste at Kroger.com/ZHZW. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
African Americans are the fastest growing vegan demographic.
Let's take a quick poll. Who is vegan? Okay, vegetarian. Where the meat eaters at?
There's so many different new things to try, specialty products.
We have to stop putting the foods in our mouth that are causing mucus inflammation and acid in the body.
Access to healthy food really shouldn't be a privilege, but for so many of us who grew up in historically Black neighborhoods and areas, healthy food was just that, a luxury that depended on our zip codes and our economic status. Now that we know these things and have leaders who are empowering our communities, more solutions are becoming readily available on the internet and through shows like ours. I still want to dig a little deeper, so I spoke to 3 leaders in the community who are doing the work. Hi, Tasha.
Hi, Gia. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for being here today. I see you are literally in the gym right now, so we have the right person on this moment. You've been doing this fitness and nutrition lifestyle for so long, and I really wanted to chat with you because, I am definitely not as consistent as I like to be in the gym, especially when the pandemic came. I am one of those germaphobes, and I just could not do it. I haven't honestly come back to the gym. I used to have a great in-home workout regimen.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of fell off. I'm not even going to lie to you. And so I wanted to talk to you today about the mindset you almost need and how to sustain a lifestyle that is based in wellness, that is great for you as a person who wants to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And so I was like, let me bring on Tasha, who can speak to us a bit about balancing all of that.
Yeah. So my journey with this lifestyle started about, 19, 20 years ago. I'm not about quick fixes. I'm about we have our bodies for forever. We're responsible for taking care of that body. So how can we do that given all the moves that we want to make in life? And as we're seeing with the pandemic, especially in the Black community, we are being affected more so with that. When that happens, that can still affect our heart condition. Diabetes. Like, it's not like because the pandemic started, heart conditions are gone away. Like, we don't have any of those medical conditions anymore. And we know that we, especially Black women, at a higher rate for heart disease than any other race or gender. So we have to make healthier choices. And that means kind of eliminating the processed foods. And I'm not saying for forever. I think we can indulge from time to time, but we don't need to be comforted anymore. Like, I get it. It was real at first. But now, how we're going to maintain our health through this time period. Take out the processed foods. We need to drink warm water, add that protein in, and check your dairy count.
I also wanted to ask you, as a trainer and a nutritionist, you're on the front line of the battles of health in so many ways.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing out there? What are the things that we are doing wrong the most? You just spoke a little bit about eating the meals that are, those good fried chicken and waffle meals, and you're out for 2 hours, and that's, it's just not, you shouldn't do it every Sunday, but what are you seeing out there that we can definitely start to fix little by little?
So I think when we come together with family at different times, or you want to do a meetup with someone who you may not have seen in a while, let's not have food be the focus. Let's do some activity. Let's do some activity when we get together. I think that's one of the main focuses, because I know it's easy to be social with food and drink, but at this time period, we are less active. A lot of us are less active.
One of the things you just said about just implementing it, finding the time to just make sure that you are focusing on your wellness, spiritually, mentally, physically. It's so important.
Especially the Black community, we're already operating at a deficit. I need us to take care of ourselves. There are still things happening in terms of our heart, diabetes, certain forms of cancer being exacerbated because of the foods we're eating. Like, no. In 2021, we've got to change our approach to food and our relationship with food. So when you get with friends and family in person or virtually, let's not have the focus be on food. Put the focus back on the person and the people who you're communicating with.
Literally, I'm getting the ideas. I'm putting them in my spirit so I can start to do it. Thank you so much, Tasha. I really appreciated your energy. I felt it through the Zoom. I felt it through everything. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, you guys, I'm so excited for this next interview. I have Chef Aki here with me, who is one of the first folks who made vegan and plant-based diets very popular on social media. And she's a mainstay on The Wendy Williams Show and so many other great shows. And she's here today to talk to us a little bit about understanding the healthier lifestyle, the choices we can make, and also how it economically affects us as well. So I want to welcome her to the show. Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
I want to actually go back to the beginning of your journey because I know you started your journey on your grandparents' farm and you also come from 4 generations of medicine women. So can you talk to me a little bit about the historical and the traditional relationship with food in your family and then where their commitment to the act of farming and growing your own food stems from?
I grew up with a sense of, do it yourself. Don't wait for anybody. Waste not, want not. My grandparents had a huge farm and the gardens were pretty phenomenal where I grew up. Most of what I ate came from their backyard. So I definitely grew up with that connection to the land and just kind of having that sense of what real food's supposed to taste like and look like. And I never knew it then, how that would connect back for me later in life, but it truly set the stage for what I've decided to do with my life and just making sure to inspire others to connect back to the earth and to eat real food.
Wow. Talk to me a little bit about how both really informed how you saw food and your relationship to food. What do you remember initially about food as a child and how it informed who you are and the traditions that you have in your own practice today?
One of the things that I can say I remember was that although my grandparents grew fresh vegetables, my mother wanted to, become cityfied. Her and my father eventually moved to the city. And, we would go back and forth over time. I remember looking at the vegetables that would grow on my grandmother's countertop. Her vegetables would sit there and ripen for a week or two. So just those small distinctions of what, the GMO foods versus fresh foods, and I tell people all the time, y'all don't know what real food tastes like. You don't know what a strawberry or a tomato is supposed to taste like, which is why kids will go, oh, yuck, I don't like vegetables. But you don't know what a vegetable tastes like. So that's half the issue is, we're eating more chemicals than we are eating food, and that is something that I believe we're only going to truly get over once we work together to really start controlling our own agricultural systems, creating sustainable communities where we have our own farmers, our own agricultural and planting systems. That's what we need more than anything. And I think the Black American is in a very delicate situation when it comes to this, specifically because not only do we lead the world in disease, but we also are the main folks that ain't trying to go back to the field. We don't want to get back out there. We don't want to do the mundane work that we need to heal ourselves. So we got a problem.
Wow. Like it's obvious, but you don't even think about why people gotten so far away from it that they don't want to return because it is triggering, right? We see those images of slavery, of oppression that was way more violent on a daily basis when slavery was allowed and legal in the United States. And I can see why people would be like, nah, I'm okay. For people who are considering building a farm and a garden and within their communities, they're trying to do these things and they're just a little hesitant. What would you say to give them that final push? Like, where do you think the future is as far as building these type of systems to help?
It doesn't have to be this, now I got to be in this farmer lifestyle, So that's just on the simplest level. is start simple, finding where your local farmers come together and sell fresh produce because they need us more than anything. The Black farmer needs support. So I know in Atlanta, we have many Black farmers, and I will go and support those farmers directly to their farms, bring fresh vegetables home. You have to start somewhere by learning the process. So even if that means you've got a little herb garden that you start with your children, you know, we're at home education now. So we're all having to learn. We're all having to unlearn and relearn how to live.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I think we got to have some resources as well as like looking what that start looks like.
I tell people, don't follow me, follow the plants, okay? Because I'm just telling you what Mother Nature can do for you. I'm not the healer. I'm just telling you where the healer is. And so I think it's important that in this trending, healthy era that people just don't get caught up in the fad and instead really make a true change through just lifestyle, like really making this a lifestyle.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your work and your incredible insight today. I really enjoyed this conversation. I learned so much. Let's take a quick break for a word from our sponsor. Kroger believes in fresh for everyone. We want to grow the bright future of our communities together with you, for our people and our planet. For you, it may just be hearing a word of inspiration or sharing a meal together that makes all the difference. Learn more about Kroger's commitment to creating communities free of hunger and waste at Kroger.com/ZHZW. Kroger, fresh for everyone. I am so excited right now. I don't even know what to do. We have one of the people who legit has changed the game as far as vegan, comfort food, and making sure Black people feel comforted and welcomed in vegan spots, which is rare, honey. Let me tell you, unless it's Black owned. We have the incredible owner of Slutty Vegan, ATL herself, Miss Pinky Cole, is here with us. Pinky, how are you?
I am doing very well, Gia. How are you?
I'm doing so well. We are talking this episode about food and how to eat right, how to live a healthier lifestyle, especially within our community where traditionally we love a good comfort soul, good fat, bacon grease, all things, that aren't great for us every single day, right? And I love that you decided to create a business model that is great for us health-wise because it's vegan, but also gives us that comfort food level. And so I know that you started it in your 2-bedroom apartment and you figured out how to really tap into your community and make sure that this grows.
When I started going vegan, I literally just started cooking for my friends. I started making food that they loved, but I veganized them. And I did it in a way where they loved the flavor and I spoke to their palate because I know what that cuisine is supposed to taste like, right? I know good food. I'm a foodie, right? I like to eat. And although I never grew up eating pork, I stopped eating beef when I was 12 and I stopped eating chicken a long time ago. I know good food. So when the opportunity came to start Slutty Vegan in my 2-bedroom apartment in Atlanta, it seemed like it happened by accident, but it was really divine. Here I am. I get to do what I love. I get to walk in my purpose and I get to get paid to do what I love. And I get to expose people who look like me to live a better lifestyle, even if it starts in vegan comfort food. I will never push my vegan agenda on the people, which is why if you ever been to my restaurant, I upplay the experience because there's this notion that if you're vegan, you're condemning people all the time. And I didn't want to be that person. I wanted to be the person that would really give people a safe space to say, listen, maybe I don't want to be fully vegan, but I just want to have options. And Slutty Vegan did just that. So I'm happy that it happened the way that it did. And now here I am, a representative for Black veganism in our communities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sitting here marveling at the experiences that I've heard my friends have at your restaurant. And one of the things that I noticed is that, your first brick and mortar was in Westview. And, we know that Westview is an Atlanta neighborhood that, traditionally doesn't have vegan options. So talk to me a little bit about how you select where to go and getting into the communities where Black people are living.
When I started this company, I wanted to make sure that Slutty Vegan is either in underserved communities that are right in the middle of gentrification, communities that don't have the access to the vegan food resources, and really put ourselves in position to be able to give them those resources. What we're doing is we are helping to rebuild communities. We are helping to sustain Black communities by putting Black-owned businesses in these communities. And we're giving people an opportunity to be exposed to vegan lifestyle, right? Back in the day, you go to a grocery store on the corner and it has all the unhealthiest foods that you can eat, right? Now you can go into an urban neighborhood and see a slutty vegan in the middle of the block or on the corner and not only feel like you're going to get food that speaks to your spirit, that tastes good, you're also seeing the example of Black excellence. Black people have been plagued with diseases for generations, right? That ancestral trauma that lives within the food that has been passed on from generations to generations to generations. Now, I didn't grow up eating traditional soul food because I'm Jamaican. I grew up eating ackee and rice and peas. Like, I grew up eating all that stuff. However, in our communities, what do we see this big? We see diabetes. We see high cholesterol. We see people are dying at a much younger age now, especially Black people, minorities, especially Black men. And what we realize is that energy is in the food. Some people think that you got to go cold turkey and just be vegan. No, don't do that. Because if you do that, then you're going to relapse and you're going to go back, right? But at minimum, start small. Take one thing at a time. And then you'll realize that your lifestyle starts to change because you've changed what? You've changed your mindset.
Yeah, energy is everything, and people don't realize how much everything is connected, right? Like whatever we eat comes out of us. It affects the way we think, like you were saying, and it affects the way we show up in the world. And so I wanted to go a little bit more into the pipeline of how like everything is connected. I don't think people really understand that like you can be sadder based on something you eat. And even if it isn't, a meat-based option, there's a whole lot of sugar that could, depending on what your body and your blood type is, it could definitely mess things up. And so can you talk to me more about the connection between food, energy, and all of those things within our bodies and how they're always operating?
When we talk about energy and frequency, like that specifically, you notice the difference when you eat raw and living foods, right? You notice how you feel, how your energy feels. I had fibroids back in 2011 and 2012, and I had to get the surgery removed. And I realized right before I got the fibroids removed, I was just eating a lot of soy on a day-to-day basis and probably the wrong foods, right? But I realized the energy from the food affected me. So after I got my fibroids removed, I went on a raw vegan lifestyle and my life literally completely changed. Not only did I lose weight, I was mentally clear. My fibroids never came back and I felt so much better. I am on a mission not only to be able to help people reimagine food, I'm on a mission to show people that Black businesses can thrive and we can thrive off supporting one another if you change your mindset.
Thank you so much for being here today, Pinky. Like, truly, you spoke so much life over so many things, and we are so grateful for you. And how can we support you? We already know we're following Slutty Vegan ATL, but I want to make sure the Pinky Cole Foundation is getting its shine too, because that work is incredible as well.
We're actually about to launch a life insurance campaign where myself and another local business, we are providing life insurance for every Black man in Atlanta that makes $30,000 or less that we're sponsoring. If you'd like to be a part of that initiative, you can go to www.pinkygivesback.com and donate. Send us an email if you want to be a part, or you can go to our Instagram, Pinky Gives Back. Follow us on Slutty Vegan ATL on all social media platforms, sluttyveganatl.com. Just follow me and I will give you all the inspiration that your heart desires.
I just got my whole life after talking to all of these dynamic Black women who are doing such dope work. They're contributing to our communities and actively making them better. I know that when it comes to food, making changes can seem out of reach or even unrealistic for some of us. But my conversations with Tasha Turnbull, Chef Ackee, and Pinky Cole have me feeling inspired, curious, and excited to learn more. I may not always get it right, but I do know that I have to be as intentional about eating as I am with my career, mental health, and every aspect of my life I want to see grow. Again, no titles and no judgment over here. This is just new information to help us learn how we can understand and make informed choices to eat better every single day. There is just so much to learn, so please check out the show notes for more resources to guide you on your own food journey. If you like what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and write us a good review. Follow us on social media at More Than That Show to continue the conversation, and we want to hear your thoughts on this episode as well. We thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Thanks again to Kroger for sponsoring this episode of More Than That with Gia Peppers. Visit Kroger.com/ZHZW for more on their commitment to creating communities free of hunger and waste. Kroger, fresh for everyone.